Gary, how are you team news-wise? Fill me in on how you're looking.
Very good from the other night. No injuries, nothing to report. We've got Jordan Gibson still missing. Joe Riley still missing. Jake Reeves joined in with the warm-up this week with us. So that was a step in the right direction with him. But again, there's no time scale on that. And I think that's it. I think that's us in terms of obviously Jamie Devitt. He had his operation on Saturday. Everything went well with him on that. And again, there's no time frame on that. Obviously, it's in its initial stages at this moment in time. But no, fully recovered and ready to go tomorrow.
Are you still keeping him in and around, Jamie Devitt? Keeping him building when he's recovered?
He's only just come out, but he is a Blackpool player, so. We'll cooperate with Blackpool, and probably at the beginning he'll be with them, and then later on as he's nearing full fitness he'll be with us. But I think he's scheduled to come to the game this weekend because obviously he's got some mates in there from Carlisle as well, and some inside info.
Did you have a few tired bodies, a few deflated bodies on Thursday morning when they came back in?
A little bit deflated, yeah, but it's gone. We said that in the dressing room as soon as the game was over. It's no good feeling sorry for ourselves. Let's get dusted and get gone and learn from what had happened on Tuesday night and try and put it right on Saturday. The beauty of obviously when you go Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday is obviously you got the opportunity very quickly.
And the fundamentals, you spoke about it being soft goals to concede. Yeah. It's just about getting back to those basics, is it? Is that what you've been reiterating?
Somebody had made me aware of it being the best start defensively for 25 years prior to that game, and then at half-time you're 0-0 as well. It was just, like you say, to then concede 3, score 2 away from home and leave without anything was the disappointing thing. But lessons learned, and we spoke about it, and we move on now and try and put those right.
Kelvin Mellor says it comes down to just a lack of concentration by players on set pieces when you do concede from there. Would you agree with that?
No, ultimately, the players have to take the responsibility, and if that's what Kelvin said on the night, then that's something that like you say, we've gone through it and we spoke about it at the time and how we could be better. And that's part of the learning process, is there now, identifying, working on it, and then actually seeing it in evidence.
What about those players who I know you've mentioned haven't really had proper pre-seasons and are closing in on starts? How do you get them to that next level when you don't have as much time, I guess, because you've got so many games? Because
you put a plan together. You don't just bring them in and just throw them straight into it and put them at risk of injury, So we've put a plan together for quite a few of them. They've had, like I say, we had a behind closed doors game that they get minutes for, and obviously the intensity in training and being regularly in training with the group at that level is something that obviously increases their fitness, and then the additional extras that they have to do on top of that. But like you rightly said, now they're pushing quite a few of them now for that. We've got obviously this game Saturday, there's a game Tuesday, and then obviously the following Saturday there's a game against Scunthorpe. So the opportunity there now for minutes for them, but we feel that quite a few of them now are very, very close.
Give you good options that then, won't it, when they are available to start?
No, definitely, and it will be some will be some tough decisions. Don't forget, at this moment in time we've still got Tyler French and Jackson Longridge that missed out along with Hope Akpan that are not in the squad, and that just shows you have they done anything wrong? No, but it's just the competition that we have it when everybody's fit.
I wanted to ask you about Aramide Ote as well, and how he's progressing at the moment as he's trying to get some game time under his belt. How do you think that he's progressing when you've seen him on the grass?
Good. I like him. I just had a conversation, ironically, with him today to just feedback what I've seen since he's only been in the building, very short time. He has this eye for goal. He has this ability to, he's one of those players that when you see him in front of goal, you fancy him. You know, you back him on it, and just feeding that back to him. And he's one that obviously has had to get up to speed a little bit when he first arrived, but he's very close as well.
And the players he's having to try and shove out of the team are very good, experienced players, aren't they, as well? So he was always going to have a job on his hands.
Yeah, but it's also very good for him in the sense of, you know, for his education, whilst he's not quite yet, or wasn't quite yet in the team, then or in and around it, he learns from them as well, and that they pass on their experience. And
he said that they're actually doing that. He's actually said he's really enjoying working with them. When we spoke to him earlier this week, he was saying it was something that he was enjoying learning from them, both on and off the field as well, about how to live your life as a footballer.
Well, that's brilliant to hear, because obviously that's one of the reasons I brought the pair of them in as well. So, you know, I think obviously with Clayton being slightly older, he, you know, how he looks after himself and conducts himself. He's a great role model, not just for the strikers, but for everyone in terms of how you conduct your life and have a career as long as what Clayton has at this moment in time.
I wanted to ask you about there was a story in the national papers this week, I don't know if you were made aware of it, as you have a shocked look on your face, about Stefan Rupp, and one of the newspapers claimed that he was set to sell the club, or was interested in selling the club. Club spokesman says that isn't the case, that is absolutely not the case. You look surprised by that.
Yeah. That's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So I would look surprised by it.
Do you deal with Stefan on a regular? Do you speak to him?
No, I speak to him, yeah. But there's never been any mention of selling the football club.
Which would be, I guess, good news for you from your perspective. You've been through all that before, haven't you?
Depends who would buy it. You know, somebody from the Far East came in and offered 100 million and then promised to invest in the team in January and then give us all pay rises, then might be making a suggestion to Stefan that he was to sell it. But if that figure was on the table, I'm sure Stefan would sell it as well, and I couldn't blame him. But no.
What about matters back on the field then? Back to Valley Parade.
Yeah.
And again, we spoke to Kelvin Melly, he was talking about the fans and the impact they've been having this season. You praised them at the game on Tuesday night as well, so they can have a big impact, can't they, this weekend and going forwards at Valley Parade?
Well, I think you saw the impact on the last home game, you know, against Northampton. We were 1-0 down at our time, didn't feel like we should have been, in my opinion. But then, you know, they saw the players have a right go, and I've said all along, it's a two-way thing. You know, there's times where we'd need their help to get us through, and at the same time, there's times where we've got to give them something to cheer about and shout about and get behind the team, and they did that very well against Northampton. You know, I think it was 77th minute we got the first one back, and they stayed with us through that, and you know, the impact that they made in that game helped us through. We'll need them again on Saturday for sure. And Carlisle as a team, what do you make to them this season? No, decent, good team. They've got some good players, and they've got you know, a threat at the top end of the pitch. They've got a good manager that's been there, seen it, done it at this level, and a little bit higher as well. And so, you know, from our point of view, it'd be a challenge again. But I'll be saying that week in, week out about all the teams in this league. We watch all the games. I think there's probably only one team I've not watched this season on video, and so that it's a competitive league, and whoever comes, you know, always presents a challenge for us, and we always go up against that and try and come up with solutions to win the game again. Good stuff, thank you.
You said about players being nearly ready to come into the first team and stuff. When you're looking at the fixtures coming up, do you look at games like the one coming up on Tuesday and think there's a chance to give some different players some minutes?
Well, Tuesday's a slightly different game into context because of the competition that is. But no, I mean, you know, first and foremost, our focus is on Saturday and picking the best starting 11 or the best 18 that we feel that can help us get a result on Saturday.
And obviously, with Saturday coming up, is it good that you're at home again after Tuesday night?
It's always nice being at home and being in front of your home fans, you know. And like you say, for us to have been on the road for the previous two games, it's always good when you get back. And like you say, also the performance that we had in our last home game, you know, that would give the players that confidence and the belief going into it.
I suppose that it's good as well not to have all the travel that you've had in the last week and a half or so.
I can't believe you're moaning about the travelling, because they were 2 local ones in comparison to what we're going to have to do at certain points in October and November. I think, do we play Plymouth away and then Colchester away following Saturdays? Then you'll be asking me about the travelling. But no, listen, it is, you have to get on with it. There's no way around it at all, other than try and prepare as best as what you can.
Cheers.
You mentioned obviously about Remy settling on his loan. I mean, when you've got young loan players like that, do you have to sort of treat them differently in terms of, because they're away and they're sort of getting used to not just being at a different club?
I have to make sure they're eating and know how to use a cooker and stuff like that, if that was what you mean. But
I was going to say, do you have to sort of not sort of father figure, but do you have to sort of help
them on and
off
the
pitch?
The group that we've got do that. The group that we've got take them in very quickly. We've got all the new lads that we've spoke to recently. That's one of my questions. How have you fitted in, and how are the lads with you? And everyone's always come back. No, the lads are brilliant. The lads have been really good, and there's a good core group of them that live locally, so they look after each other and look out for each other as well. And it's interesting watching the little dynamics and how they fit together. And you sometimes go, I wouldn't have paired those 2 together yet. They're good mates away from the pitch, and you just make sure. I think that's part of our job, to help them as much as we can off the pitch and make sure everything's fine.
Because it's easy to forget. These lads are training for a certain number of hours, but then they've got the rest of the day, and if they're in a hotel room or whatever.
No, and that's the good thing about it. Is, like I say, there's a core group of them, the younger ones, where they're all together. They're not far. I think a couple of them live in the same block. A couple of them live around the corner from that same block, and so they're looking out for each other and fine dining at certain restaurants in the local area.
Nando's.
Correct. I can't be putting that out there because it's free advertising.
You might get a black card from it. You might get one.
Other established restaurants in the area.
So maybe a bit early to be talking about the table, but you're still confident? I know it's very congested at the moment, not in a bad position.
I think you're right. It's very early to be talking about the table. But we just focus on the game at a time, really, and try and put a performance together, and that lasts longer than, say, a 45 minutes like we felt we did against Northampton.